Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures. Today it's going to be a review of the Black Series Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. This is a pack that came out for the San Diego Comic-Con 2025 and I'm going to give it a little spin. As you can see, it does have a bit of damages. This is a bit the problem when Hasbro does this kind of packaging. It's not the best and easiest way to transport it. I understand that they wanted to do something fancy, but as you can see, it did take a bit of a beating. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame if you want to keep it mint in box. Of course, you have the whole explanation over here. It's kind of surprising that you have different languages, but I guess this could make sense if you're going to export it. But if this is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, it should be only in English. So let's give this little package a little spin so you can see it under all the different shapes. Also, like I said, the problem with this is when you do this kind of packaging, it does have a bit of a tendency of coming undone pretty easily. So yeah, let's pull this off here. Oops. As you can see over here, you can just clip it back in, but it does have a tendency of being extremely fragile. So this is a bit the problem, and also the fact of making such a huge blister box. I think Hasbro should do a better packaging, like a double box, or do a bit like they do with the figures that they did, how do you call it, like the HasLab stuff, to give it a bit more protection. Because as you can see, when we're going to be coming back forward, you can see over here there's a bit of a crack also on the blister. So yeah, the figure itself, the two figures look pretty amazing, and I'm going to be unboxing these two. So let's get into the unboxing. So going to do a quick cut over here. As you can see, we have some scotch over here. Now I know you could say, well, why not dismantle it more faster, due to the fact that the box is damaged. You should be able to go a lot faster, but I still want to keep the box. As you can see, there is a lot of scotch tape all over the place on this box here. So let's see how this looks when we're going to be opening it. So I like the way it opens up. It is interesting, like I said, for the presentation. As we can see, we do have a lot of bits and pieces over here. Two heads, we have some hands, we have some blast effects, some lightsaber movements over here. Of course, we do have Anakin and Obi Wan, some lava effects over here, the two different platforms. And the reason why I wanted to do the review of this one is because I have the impression, seriously, that Hot Toys is copying a lot Hasbro in doing their stuff. We launched this one for Episode 3 and they did it as a San Diego exclusive. Hot Toys is doing exactly the same. They're milking really the Anakin Skywalker one, and I'm a bit surprised. And like I said, when I was doing my thoughts about the Obi Wan that Hot Toys released, this is what I wanted to do this one, to be able to give it a check. So without further ado, I'm going to take this out of the box and we're going to have a closer look at all of that. So I removed everything from the box, and as you can see, there is a lot of stuff going around, a lot of lightsaber effects over here. We're going to be having a closer look at it. So of course there's a little part of the manual, so if you want to put a pause and have a look at it, it should to explain you how the different pegs work, how they do the parts. So if you are G.I. Joe fan, you will recognize these. These are the same that are given with the modular buildings from Hasbro. If it's the G.I. Joe or if it's the Cobra one, these are exactly the same. Now I do like the fact of getting the background over here, done in this way, but we're going to be pushing it. The only problem is if you come and you want to put this over here, I'm sorry for the light, if you want to put this, let's say, over here, this will not meet the proper height. So you see, you would have to be higher to be able to put it in. It was a bit of a shame. I would have preferred that they would have put maybe something behind, or a possibility to cover it, so that you can still leave it around and have it flying around like this, and maybe the possibility of opening the box to have it a bit more stretched out. So that would have been an interesting add-on to it. Hey, Hot Toys, you see what you could have done? Background for your two figures, that would have been something very interesting that you could have done with it. So yeah, that's really a bit of a shame that you didn't think this one over. So now that we have unboxed all of this, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to change the camera of angle, and afterwards I'm going to be showing you every little bit in pieces that we get with it, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts about it, and do I believe this is a collectible item. So let's start by the accessories that we get in it. As you can see, we do have the flame effect over here on the ground. So as you can see, there's some pegs. These come to put the platform on, and we also have the one for the Anakin droid over there. And by the looks of it, this all comes in clips into place like this, and it does feel a bit flimsy on it. And as you can see, there's a peg over here, so I'm going to put this in over here. No, it doesn't want to go in. Okay, so as you can see, put everything in over here, and you can give the effect of the two platforms for the fighting. So yeah, it does look pretty neat. So anyway, let's move the fire effect over here away, and let's have a look at the droid. So the droid itself, nothing much. There's a bit, looks like you have a bit of movement over here, and the rest is pretty solid and fixed. So as you can see, you have the hole over here. The fact that you can move this a bit around gives you a bit more posability of it. So yeah, it is pretty neat. Over here you can see there's some holes, and these are for the pegs that I'll be showing afterwards when we're going through the accessories that come with it. The robot itself doesn't have much of a weathering on it. I'm a bit astonished, but afterwards, let's be honest, this is Hasbro Black Series. You can't ask too much. I mean, if you want to do some weathering, you can do it pretty easily. There's some little marks of the lava melting over here. So yeah, it does look pretty neat. Afterwards, let's have a look at the platform for Obi Wan Kenobi. So you also have some lava melting down over here, or dried up lava. This for me is a bit of a shame. I think they should have given you the possibility to remove it, but this looks to be pretty solidly attached. Oh wait, maybe not. Yeah, no, this looks definitely more solidly attached. Of course, we can remove this part over here. As you can see, they really did it in a way that you cannot mix anything up. These are the only parts that really come out. These don't move, and this doesn't move either. As you can see, you have the holes over here, and then you have a whole bunch of extra holes. So these are to put the extra pegs in so that you don't lose them. I think that's a pretty neat system for not losing them, and I think Hasbro did a pretty neat job on it. Again, not much weathering. It would have been nice to see some wear and tear on it, or some scratch marks on it, but otherwise this is nothing that you cannot do with a bit of a paintbrush. Or if you're not that much of an expert in painting, you can maybe ask somebody or pay somebody to be able to do it. But personally, I do think that they look pretty neat and are pretty cool. Now let's get into what we have over here, and as you can see, so we have the basic lightsabers, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means 8 different positions for the lightsaber. The little blast effect that clips in over here. So if you want to let's take Anakin. I guess this clips in this way to give it a bit of an effect. I guess it would be better to slide it in. Okay, how does this go? Okay. And then you should slide it in this way to give it the effect of banging around. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So these are all these little pegs that you're going to be using over here. So let's put them in. I think this is a neat little idea of doing this kind of peg. So you can see, push them in and they fit perfectly inside. And then afterwards, it depends what you want to do. Do you want to keep Anakin on the platform, on his platform, or on the other platform? So yeah, it's a pretty neat idea doing this kind of part on these on this platform. I don't think Hot Toys did plan anything special, like the 2 pegs to hold up the figures over there, who could have been a nice issue, or maybe something that they really should have thought over. So as you can see, you can put all these pegs pretty easily inside. And then what we're going to do, as we have a storage place for it, let's take advantage of using this storage place over here. So, of course, ups, and here, one more. So as you can see, this is pretty neat. Then afterwards, we do have the 2 hands over here. As you can see, they're both same-sided. It would have been interesting to get some extra hands, like to have Obi-Wan being able to stretch out his arms and be able to, let's say, exchange here. Let's see if these come out pretty easily. Yeah, as you can see, you pop this one in here. Oops. Yeah, it would have been interesting to have 2 different hands and to put them open here and have him holding, being like this and saying, it's over, Anakin, I have the high ground. So that would have been interesting to have. But I do find it pretty nice to get both hands to do a simulation like you have in the movie. Then let's go into having a closer look at the 2 different head sculpts that they are giving over here. Whoops, sorry about that. So let's start by the head sculpt of Obi-Wan. As you can see, our friends at Hasbro have done a better job than Sideshow with the real hair. You can see there's an effect. Whoops, sorry, come back here. As you can see over here, the hair does have some volume, and this is the part who's missing on the ones that Hot Toys did with the real hair. And this is what I was expecting, that maybe the Obi-Wan Kenobi would have also a version with the molded hair, and did the same way that they did with Anakin Skywalker, give us 2 different molds for the head. As you can see over here, we do have a bit of a more effect, and this is what's missing on the Obi-Wan Mustafa thing. So I must say, Hasbro did a better job than Hot Toys as making the figures. But as you can see, the head sculpts are pretty neat and pretty cool in the way they've done, and I really like what they have done with it. I like the fact of having the hair over here like this. The other one is way too neat on the one, but we're going to be having a closer look at the figures itself. Let's remove the different blade effects over here. I do think that this is a nice little gesture of giving us all these different movements of blade. Again, I understand that Hot Toys has only 1 and they light up, but again, we're talking about 1/6 versus 6-inch figures, or 12-inch versus 6-inch figures, and I think they did a pretty good job of giving us different light effects for the lightsaber, the little blast on it. Really great stuff that Hasbro has done. Let's have a closer look at the figures themselves. So of course we're going to be starting by Mr. High Ground over here. So as we can see, he does have mostly plastic. This is very soft plastic over here to make the movements. So yeah, this is something of an interesting move on the behalf of Hasbro to give it this kind of flexibility. Now, could they have done this with some cloth like Mayfix may have done, or some other companies? Yeah, that would have been something pretty neat, but as you can see, there's a bit of movement that can be done. Of course, this is going to be not always folding the way it should because of gravity, but again, this is because it's all made out of plastic. As you can see, I'm going to have a look also closer at the lightsaber. That's pretty decent, and of course these should pop out very easily, and you should pop this in as simple as that to have the different effects. And let's have a little try on here, and afterwards we're going to be having a look. So yeah, it does give this kind of pretty cool effect of movement. Have to do the noise. Let's have a look. As you can see, there's some pretty well detailed. Again, Maybe the little reproach that you could do compared to the 1/6 scale version is that you don't have any weathering on the outfit, no battle damage. They're pretty neat. So again, this is something that can be done, or you can ask somebody to do it. But as you can see, there's a bit also, due to the fact of the robe, a bit of lack of being able of possibility, but I do think that you can get them into most of the basic poses, and I'll be showing you that when we get to the end of this video, when I will have the platform turning around and them fighting it off on the platform. But as you can see, Obi Wan Kenobi looks fantastic. The two head sculpts, the movement of the hair, the way it's molded, this one beats with really no competition at all. This one is better than what Hot Toys did with theirs. Let's hope that Hot Toys may take a bit of a lesson and decide to do us a plastic version of the Mustafar version instead of a molded hair. So over here we have Anakin Skywalker. So as you can see, I'm going to remove the lightsaber over here so we can have a quick look at it. As you can see, oops, there we go. Oh, okay, they want to zoom in. Paint on these lightsabers is pretty impressive. Okay, so let's put this one out also. So again, we're going to get the Anakin with two heads. The head sculpt itself is pretty impressive. The dark under the eyes. I mean, Hasbro has done a pretty good job over here, and they decided to give him a more rested face and a bit of a more aggressive face with the hair going a bit in a different way. But again, I mean, Hasbro did a pretty good job. On this one, I must say that Hot Toys giving us two hair pieces for Anakin Skywalker, well, one of the numerous Anakin Skywalkers that they made, is a pretty good idea also, and this is something that they should have applied on the regular figures. So, as same principle as Obi Wan Kenobi, you have some plastic, some very flexible plastic that gives you the possibility to pose the figure and to close it up, and this is something that's pretty neat. Again, like I said, this could have been done in tissue. Of course, I'm going to show you this. I didn't show it on Obi-Wan, but it also works. You can also clip it on the hilt over here, so if you want to have it posed in this way. But yeah, I must say that they did a pretty neat job about it. I do have over here, give me 2 seconds, you can see this is the first one Hot Toys did over here. And as you can see, the fact of the way the robe falls, everything, the way it fills up on the belt, everything, the way it falls, it's a pretty neat figure that Hasbro has given us. I do have the Obi-Wan, I will have to go and get it. The first version of it, where he's a bit more of a thinkful mind over these. Oh, sorry, yeah, it was a bit hard to bend. And as you can see, this is when you see you still do have a lot of flexibility with the articulations for a figure that has this cloak on it. I think Hasbro again nailed it, put it out of the park, and the fact of having this, if you can heat it, you might be able to give it a bit more some angle looks onto it, or have it closer to the body. Really think that they did a very good job on this figure. Let me get my Obi-Wan figure to do a little comparison. So here is my Obi-Wan. As you can see, the hair does have this volume, and they matched it also on the smaller version of it. If you have a look, it is also has the volume, and this is something that is truly missing on the one that they did over here. So I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to build this all up, give it a spin, and give you my final thoughts, and do I believe this is a collectible item. So this is going to be my final thoughts about this set, and do I think it's a collectible item. So while I'm going to be talking about this, let's give these guys a little spin. So I put them up and we created a bit of a scene from the movie, and while it's spinning around, I will let you admire this set under all the different angles. So first of all, let's start by the collectible aspect of this set. Yes, this is going to be a collectible item like most of the San Diego items that come out, and these are going to be going up. The prices have already kind of doubled on these. Now it didn't sell out as fast as the two other exclusive, but let's be honest, over there with the G.I. Joe one, it kind of went up, down, so it's not really comparable. But this one, the moment it sold out, it never came back in stock. So yeah, this is definitely a collectible item. So if you missed out, or if you can get it at a cheaper price on the secondary market, I strongly suggest that you do it, because this is a really cool set. And as I said, this one is going to have a certain collectible approach to it, even if Hasbro is going to be releasing these figures in individual, but you will not have all the diorama, you will not have the double heads, you will not have the extra hands over here. So yeah, this is something you definitely need to find. Now, going on to my final thoughts about this set, and do I like it, and what would be the note out of 10 of this set. Well, I must say that I do enjoy it a lot. I haven't had time because, as you see, I've unboxed it, so I have to still figure out, do some poses, but I will be doing all of that, and I will be adding some pictures to my Facebook page and Instagram page. The links are in the description if you want to go and check it out at a later date, but I will put a little update when I will have had time to do those pictures. But yeah, I do love this set. I do find it pretty amazing what they did for something around 109, if I remember one, or 125. Can't remember exactly the price of this one, but yeah, this is a pretty awesome set. I like the fact of having the effects, the different lightsabers, the possibilities of putting it up. Yeah, if I would have to be nitpicky about this set, I would have said I would have liked to have had some extra hands, and maybe the cloak around the figures, like the robe that you have on Obi Wan over there, or the one you have on Anakin Skywalker, would have been a little nice add-on, so to make it a bit more starting from the beginning of it. Then afterwards there's another part also that I would have liked to see, maybe some extra hands. That would have been also pretty nice on the behalf of Hasbro to do it, but otherwise that would be more nitpicking. And like I said, could we have had some better wear and tear, and having some more battle damage version of Obi-Wan than having a clean version? Again, like I said, this is mostly nitpicking, but when I'm really thinking about it, and the reason of this video was to be able to compare it with what Hot Toys has done, and I think Hasbro nailed it better than what Hot Toys has done on it. I think Hot Toys missed a bit the opportunity. Of course, I was reproaching that there is no light on the one that Hot Toys did, but let's be honest, this one doesn't have a light on, and again, this is a bit more understandable due to the fact that it's a general product and it's a lot smaller. Would have brought up maybe a bit the prices, and they would have not been able to do a light up on the one that Anakin Skywalker's on. So I'm not going to hold it against Hasbro for not doing it, but I think what they did over here, the two different head sculpts, of course, you can understand it's more expensive to do two different head sculpts on the figures, on the 12-inch figures, but the fact of Hot Toys giving us two different hair sculpts for the Anakin is something that they could have done with Obi Wan Kenobi. So that's a bit of a huge disappointment on my behalf when I really think about it. So yeah, that's something that Hot Toys should really think about, is making a Mustafa version of Obi Wan Kenobi with two different hair molds, so that you can exchange them in the same way that they did with Anakin Skywalker. So yeah, for me, this is a really good set. Like I said, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, due to the fact that I would have liked to see maybe a few little accessories more on it. So this is why for this one is getting a 9 out of 10. Otherwise, not much else to complain about or to point out would be the most appropriate term to use. So yeah, really great set. Really loving it, and cannot wait to have a place where I can be able to expose it. But I'm going to be doing some fun pictures and taking some pictures and posing it around and trying to give some different angles for it. But really digging this set a lot. So that's going to be it for my review of the Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, San Diego 2025 set from Hasbro. If you like this kind of videos, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Let's talk about this set also. Did you get it? Did you not get it? After this review, are you interested in getting it? Would like to really hear what you have to think about it, what your thoughts about it, and do you agree with my review? So let's start the conversation about this set in the comment section. Like I said, there's going to be some pictures going to be posted at a later time on Facebook, on Instagram, so go and check it out when those come out. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!